Today we are stepping into a wonderland, and I have got a fun still life set up for you and an artist I want to share with you, and it's going to be a fun, whimsical kind of day. I wanted to introduce you to the art of Mary Blair. She was famous for her bold, playful color and often uses colors that are not really realistic. And she simplified the shapes so they felt graphic and magical instead of detailed and realistic. Walt Disney loved her use of color so much that he personally asked her to work on many of the major products. She helped him decide color palettes and overall mood for several of the films and characters. Most notably, Alice in Wonderland, but she also did Peter Pan. You can see her there working. But these are her watercolor years. That's called Laundry Day. She also designed the look of It's a Small World in Disney World. I just love how she applies the graphic look of her work. I just love her style. So here we're getting to the Alice in Wonderland section. This is Cinderella. But look at the pattern on those curtains. She created a lot of color concepts for Alice in Wonderland in the background designs. And her version of Alice in Wonderland was brighter, stranger, and more playful than the earlier storybook versions. She loved to experiment with color combinations that felt happy and surprising. She definitely changed how animation looked. She used very, very bold colors and simple shapes, dreamy designs. And I think her work created worlds of helped create the worlds of Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan, Cinderella, Even the giraffes have this pattern on it. Her work today is still sold as prints, books, and even fabrics and dishes. And that's what I've set up today. That's the Still Life. But this is her pattern. You can see that's like a little frog. But this is the Alice in Wonderland pattern. This is my acrylic gouache. And as far as packaging goes, the way you can tell it apart from the regular gouache is it definitely has a different packaging. Once it's dry, you can't re-wet or blend it like your regular or traditional gouache. I've not tried this, and I just want to see what it's like. It does, from what I've been able to read about, it does dry matte, and the colors often look darker and flatter when they dry. You can put light over dark, and it covers opaquely like acrylics, which would be really suitable for patterns like the Mary Blair. But one thing that does concern me, if you're thinking about this medium, that I didn't realize, but it doesn't matter for me because I'm working in my sketchbook, is the light fastness of it. Some of them are not as light fast as others. This one you can see has a lot of stars, and let's see, but this one only has 2 stars, so this one isn't as light fast as the earth color. You can see the light fastness on this one is pretty good. This one only gets 2 bars. And this one gets 4 stars, or probably 4 bars. I'm working in my sketchbook, so like I said, it doesn't matter. But if you were going to work in this medium and you're worried about it lasting, this might not be a great medium to use unless you were going to take it and make a print of your work, because the pigment load on these are so beautiful that I think I'm going to really like them. So I thought we could be inspired by her and do more of a graphic feel. Like, look at the way she has done this flat teapot and that teapot. And the pattern here. Maybe this hot pink. I like that as well. So I'm going to put the picture on the left or right side, and then you can follow along and get your sketchbook out and also do it. Look how the teacup, the handle looks backwards. You know, like it should be this way, but she's got it, or they've made it this way. So it's kind of Alice in Wonderland-ish, I guess. And we could actually take some patterns from here, or at least the color palette. And because we know that this is just like acrylic paint, we can paint over it. So I'm not really concerned about making it perfect. I'm just gonna do kind of a graphic, a stylized version of the teapot. I think it feels very similar to the gouache, but maybe a little thicker. But boy, that pigment load is nice, right? And let's do the teacup. Maybe we should do the teacup like super big because it's Alice in Wonderland. I mean, I want it to have kind of that whimsical feeling. And then I also have my pencils, and when it dries, we can go on top. Let's put the saucer in the background. This square teapot, not teapot, I've got this square tea canister back here. And I'll do this kind of crooked too. It's raining here. We're supposed to be getting a lot of snow tomorrow, so it already feels like it's drying. I'm gonna mix a little of my red and maybe knock it back a little with this yellow. And do the inside of the cup. You know, one color that I did not put out is white. Okay. And she kind of made up her colors. And it's got these little flowers. And a butterfly there. So for the background, I'm going to try this pattern. And there's a napkin there so we can play with that pattern. And that's just straight out of the tube. I didn't mix it with anything. I am curious about this light fast situation. All right, one thing that I can tell by working with these is it's almost as if you have to just put your paint down and that's it, because it almost pulls up and leaves striation. Is it called striation? Like a little mark. Put some white out. So I'm gonna try to do her little pattern. Look how well that covers. And then we've got some plants down here and maybe roses. I say everything is roses. Mixed up some green. Now if you, well, I've got a glare, but if you look close, see it's got little faces in the flowers. I think it would also, I mean, I'm painting this pretty fast, but I think if you were gonna do like a really big painting or spend a lot of time, you would benefit from using a Stay Wet palette. Now on my little English tea, I've got a rabbit back here. Go with purple. He's got a collar on. And a scroll. And then we can finish that up with the markers. And then this is a butterfly. So I don't have that blue, so for the lid, so I think I'll make mine purple. And this also purple. Clean up some of these edges. I think what I like about this most is it doesn't pick up the color underneath, and so it doesn't get muddy. I struggle with my gouache. Like I think I use too much water, and then I pick up what's underneath. And I think mainly it's because I'm used to working in acrylic, and this is acrylic, or has the acrylic binder in it, so I do enjoy it. But I don't know about the light fastness. I just don't know about that. I'll have to read more on that. So let's do polka dots down here. And let's put in his little trumpet. So now let's try to put in these little whimsical faces. then it's got a little I can tell you that the markers, not markers, these little Derwent pencils really go on top nice. And let's put his little got a little nose. Now I'm going back to this and making that just a little bit darker. And then it's got some little swirls around that little pattern. I think if you worked on paper and you framed it under a UV glass, that would definitely help protect. So here is our Mary Blair inspired still life. So I hope this shows you that you can take inspiration from different patterns, palettes, and pull something together that speaks to you. As far as the gouache, the acrylic gouache is concerned, these are the colors I used. I absolutely love them. I don't know about the light fast, so you'll have to do your research on that. But as far as the feel, it's so matte, it's almost like velvet. And my sketchbook won't stick like it does when I paint with acrylic in my sketchbook. I think I'm gonna use these a lot. This is the only colors I have. Plus I got a big thing of white because I go through white. But I think they're worth giving these a try. If you struggle with your traditional gouache getting muddy, this helped me. All right, I will see you next week for something different. Y'all have a great day.